current health crisis has already affected the WWE, and despite the promotion's best efforts to keep WrestleMania 36 going, one of its main events is now out of the window. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at how Roman Reigns pulling out of WrestleMania has affected major plans. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos. As noted in our earlier news video, Pro Wrestling Sheet's Ryan Satin revealed on 26 March that Pro Wrestling Sheet has learned Roman Reigns will not be a part of the Universal Championship match at WrestleMania 36 as planned. Sources with knowledge of the situation tell us Reigns expressed to the WWE that he didn't feel comfortable doing any more of the Performance Center shows during the pandemic because he's immunocompromised from his battle with leukemia and didn't want to risk his health. Naturally, fans are wondering whether Roman started showing signs of the disease, or anyone else in the WWE for that matter. What is interesting, as we just reported, is that according to Dave Meltzer, Roman showed up to the Performance Center but started having second thoughts when the Usos noted that The Miz was showing signs of being sick. It was interesting because he was there and he made the call, and it had something to do in some form with The Miz being sick and the Usos not being happy about it. I don't know much else, but that's all I was told. You know, it's a weird story because if you followed it, because basic logic was that he should have stayed home. Everyone's got a risk, but his risk was high. His reward was high too, but his risk was really high too. For a guy who has kids, it was his decision, but that decision shouldn't have been put on him. According to Fightful Select, WWE staff found out about Reigns' absence only recently. We've been told that much of the crew involved found out that Roman Reigns wouldn't be participating on Wednesday. That's fairly recent, since the WWE was reportedly filming the majority of matches on Wednesday and Thursday of 25th and 26th March. The WWE has made every effort to salvage WrestleMania 36 as well as its weekly programming, moving its operations to a closed set at its Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. At the same time, the promotion has screened its workers to try and prevent the outbreak from spreading. This includes taking people's temperatures and making sure they're in perfect health before entering the WWE Performance Center, as well as not allowing anyone inside who has been out of the country or in touch/contact with anybody who's been out of the country. Despite these screening efforts, did someone show up who was infected? It appears The Miz may have, leading to Reigns' concern. While there have been no confirmed cases of the disease in the WWE, there are wrestlers currently in quarantine, those being Rey Mysterio, Dana Brooke, Daniel Bryan, and also Bobby Lashley. Who will take over? The WWE has used considerable resources to set up the Goldberg vs Reigns match, so how will they remedy the situation and get back their investment? Is it even possible to do so? Consider the WWE had to pay Bill Goldberg a hefty paycheck to travel to Saudi Arabia to battle Universal Champion The Fiend. Also consider the WWE more or less sacrificed The Fiend to Goldberg, abandoning nearly a year of well-executed and a well-received push. With the match off, the WWE had better find a suitable alternative, but can they? They could go with the tired route of Reigns being unable to compete and Goldberg calling out an opponent, beating him down, spearing him, and leaving without there being an actual match. Well, that might work, but not at WrestleMania, where fans expect to see conclusive finishes to matches and to see big matches take place. The situation shows professional wrestling's always precarious nature, as the unexpected can ruin the best laid plans, whether it's an illness, an arrest, or even an injury. The WWE finds itself scrambling to replace Roman Reigns, and it appears they have. It appears they have, with WrestleVotes posting a gif of Roman Reigns hugging Braun Strowman. PW Insider isn't hinting, but actually reporting. As Dave Shearer noted last night, Roman Reigns did not work WWE's WrestleMania taping. PWInsider.com has confirmed with multiple sources that WWE Universal Champion Bill Goldberg still worked the show. WWE Universal Champion Bill Goldberg will face Braun Strowman at WrestleMania 36. While putting Strowman into the match isn't a case of pulling someone out of left field, Strowman's stock has dropped almost as badly as the WWE's. Consider just 2 years ago, Strowman was feuding with Roman Reigns and battling both the Big Dog and Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship, with things looking hopeful that the Monster Among Men was going to win one of the WWE's top prizes. There's no need to rehash Strowman's fall from grace, other than to say he had a brief run with the Intercontinental Championship before dropping it to Sami Zayn. The good thing with Strowman is that the WWE Universe still seems to enjoy his work, no matter how badly the WWE books him or how many stupid remarks Braun makes on social media, such as his recent suggestion that indie workers consider a new line of work. He's the type of superstar who it doesn't take much effort to rehabilitate his image. The problem is always the WWE drops the ball with his follow-up. But how will things go down? Obviously, the WWE has to set up an angle to pitch Strowman against Bill Goldberg, and according to Diamond Dave Meltzer, it apparently is already done. Braun Strowman replaced him. I don't have the answer as to what happened. I'm under the impression that on tonight's SmackDown show they'll acknowledge it and shoot an angle to get the Braun Strowman-Bill Goldberg match in. Even though SmackDown has already been taped, that's the impression I got, that is that they taped an angle maybe on Thursday to insert it into the show. I think it'll all be explained on Friday night's SmackDown show. Now tonight's SmackDown should be must-see television as fans wait to see how the WWE will switch Strowman into the main event. How will this affect the WWE's original plan for Reigns, and also how will it affect Braun Strowman, Goldberg and The Miz? Yeah, that's right, The Miz. Now it was rumoured that Roman Reigns would defeat Bill Goldberg to become Universal Champion, with Goldberg going off to count his money until the WWE needed him back for a big appearance such as SummerSlam or Crown Jewel, or whatever Saudi show is next. However, with Reigns out of the picture, is there any chance the WWE might keep the belt on Big Bad Bill until Reigns is able to wrestle again, or will the WWE put the strap on Strowman? Let's look at if they keep the belt on Bill Goldberg. If they keep the belt on Bill Goldberg, this will be the latest disappointment for Strowman as well as his fans, another example of how he can't win the big one. While his career will bounce back, it would be a bad move unless the WWE were to follow up with Strowman growing bitter and turning heel, perhaps getting in Reigns' way when he returns and goes after Goldberg. Despite Dollar Bill's part-time performances, the WWE shouldn't have any problem coaxing him to stay. Goldberg's performance against The Fiend at Super Showdown was criticised as he wrestled a short match and he couldn't hit a jackhammer on The Fiend, instead hitting a sloppy looking suplex. The WWE Universe is still upset with Goldberg for beating The Fiend, which means it might have to turn Goldberg heel if he retains the Universal Championship. That's an option the promotion might consider while it waits for Reigns to return. However, will the fans accept Goldberg as a champion, and are they better off putting the belt on Strowman? Number 2, this could lead to Braun Strowman being the new Universal Champion. Now on the other hand, the WWE has the ideal opportunity to put the belt on Strowman by having him turn heel and utilize ruthless methods to destroy Goldberg. This would be an excellent way to set up both Roman vs Strowman match, with Roman eventually winning the belt. The WWE could then follow up by pitting Roman against Goldberg either at SummerSlam or next year's Mania, giving fans the original match. Pushing Strowman as a monster heel wouldn't be too hard to do, and the WWE could feed him opponents, much as they did with The Fiend. Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan could look for their chance to regain a world championship, only to be stopped cold by Strowman. Throw in heel versus heel matches like Sheamus vs Strowman or King Corbin vs Strowman, and there are several opportunities. We'll also discuss more when we discuss how to determine the number 1 contender. Number 3, will there be heat on The Miz? As for The Miz, will there be any heat on him for coming to the Performance Center while he was sick, if the rumors are true? It could be argued that The Miz ruined the Reigns vs Goldberg main event by showing up sick, but The Miz could point out he passed the screening to get into the Performance Center. There could be some heat on The Miz though, and hopefully it won't affect his team with John Morrison. We believe the WWE will put the belt on Strowman, allowing him to serve as champion until the current health crisis is resolved and the WWE is certain Roman Reigns can wrestle. But the next question is when Reigns will be able to wrestle and how the WWE will put him in as the number 1 contender. And number 4, choosing that contender. And despite the WWE's best efforts to keep the company running as best as possible, the ongoing pandemic could keep Reigns out of the promotion for some time. All it would take would be one person in the WWE to get ill, and it's likely Reigns would stay out of action until things calm down. Even if the WWE remains free of the disease, Reigns may not want to risk his health, and naturally, who can blame him? The most important thing is Reigns' well-being, and while the WWE has spent the last year rebuilding Reigns after his return from his treatment from leukemia, it may have to position someone into his spot for the time being. Thankfully, the WWE is brimming with talent both on SmackDown and in NXT. Consider the superstar shakeup is coming, which means Raw superstars could become available. Looking at the SmackDown roster, Sheamus and King Corbin could serve as contenders for the Universal Championship, while Raw superstars Bobby Lashley, Samoa Joe and Seth Rollins might be brought in. Add in possible NXT stars such as Keith Lee, Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, and there are plenty of competitors for the #1 contender spot. There are other superstars who could become contenders if the WWE spent time building them up. After all, Kofi Mania shows that wrestlers can jump from the undercard to the main event if the timing and fan response is right. With that in mind, how will the WWE determine a #1 contender? A wise move would be to run a tournament on SmackDown and have the finals held at the WWE's next pay-per-view, Money in the Bank. They could also run a gauntlet match, a match Vince McMahon loves, or Battle Royal. Whatever it does, the WWE needs to push the Universal Champion as if Roman Reigns is out for the time being. And lastly, bringing Reigns back. While there are few guarantees in wrestling, at some point the big dog will be back, but when? There are no projections for when things will get back to normal. As we've noted in an earlier news video, the WWE plans on taping shows at the Performance Center for the time being, which suggests they don't plan on things returning to normal soon. There are projections that things could peak by mid-April in the US, while other projections indicate the crisis could continue well into the summer. Again, WWE should not plan on Reigns returning for the foreseeable future and think of other contenders for the Universal Championship. Once Reigns is ready to return, the WWE has several options for positioning him as the #1 contender. The first and most obvious is to say that he was the #1 contender going into WrestleMania and that he still has a title shot coming. The second would be to have him clash with Strowman. If Strowman were to turn heel, Reigns could claim he gave Strowman his blessing only for Strowman to go into business for himself as a heel. Finally, the WWE could put Reigns into any of the matches we just mentioned for him to fight for a title shot. But there you have it guys, some major plans that have now been affected now that Roman Reigns has been removed from WrestleMania, and we don't know when he's coming back. What do you guys think of this situation, and should the WWE have expected it considering Roman's compromised immune system? Be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.
Silky Bee.